it just makes me want to throw up or punch something. I don't know. What we need is some freaking reality up in this biz, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sam. Alright, sorry, we're gonna skip the intro, a little bit of the niceties today. Apologies ahead of time if my thoughts are a little bit disjointed, but it's gonna be a little less research today, a little more of me just riffing it with you guys, because I've got a few things that I need to just like get off of my chest in regards to the channel. And no, it's nothing bad. It's essentially, how can I put this? My husband and I have this fun way of telling each other, like, I'm not in a mood, you're in a mood, and I have been in a mood all week this week, and I guess I really just want to talk about why I'm in that mood, and do a little bit of a channel update, because the channel has grown a lot. We are almost at 11,000 subscribers now, which is absolutely insane. My videos are getting more traction, and so I just want to talk about a few things, get a few things off my chest, and get them out there. So without further ado, let's get into what's happening. So first things first, the internet is a very weird space to exist in, which is not news to anyone, right? You're all here, you've all experienced what the internet is like, the good, the bad, the ugly. And when you're on a platform like YouTube as a creator, this is my first time being on this side as a creator. I'm used to being a watcher. It took me a really long time to start my channel because I didn't know how to make that switch, right? From being an avid YouTube watcher, following a lot of channels, to then becoming a creator. It's sort of weird because you get caught up in sort of the game of YouTube, and your titles and your thumbnails, like everything has to be clickable. You need people to watch your content. And again, that is not an unknown, so I'm not gonna bore you with the details of that. Another weird thing that happens, and again, this is not limited to creators, everyone on the internet has dealt with this, but literally anyone on the internet can say anything about you, they can make things up about you, they can call you anything they want to call you. And at this point, I have heard it all about myself, right? I'm not empathetic. I'm a racist because I don't agree with Dr. Sabrina Strings. I'm clearly a nobody academically because if I was, I would be using my titles. So on and so forth, right? When you become a creator, like, you have to have a thick skin and not let those things get to you. But the one that really got me, the one I want to talk about today, I don't know if it will surprise anybody else, but it surprised me. The one that got to me was that I obviously hate fat people. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when I read this comment, I ran out of our bathroom that's attached to our bedroom. I had moisturizer not even rubbed all the way into my face, and I yelled at my husband that apparently I've been tricking you all for a long time because I hate fat people. And then I literally yelled so loud, it was like 5 a.m. My neighbors were probably like, what is she doing? I literally yelled, the fuck you mean I hate fat people? Like, I am a fat person. Like, what? I was so confused and like thrown off, and it has really stuck with me in a way that I was not prepared for, because again, I am fat. Like, I don't understand why someone would think that I hate fat people, unless of course they're looking at my thumbnails and my titles but not watching my content, which again is a fun thing that happens, right? So here's the thing I feel like I need to talk about, again, because the channel has grown so much. It's been so fantastic. I'm still really loving it. I enjoy making content. I enjoy doing the research that I'm doing, so you don't have to worry about me going anywhere. The entire reason I created this channel was to talk about the binary that exists on the internet, right? It either has to be this or this. There's no in between. And that binary is bad for everyone. Not just fat people, not just thin people, not just average sized people. It's bad for everyone. And my focus tends to be on fat people, fat activists, fat activism, because not everyone who's a fat activist is fat, unfortunately, in my opinion. I am that way, and I talk about those people because I can empathize with them. I mean, technically, according to the stupid fatness spectrum that exists, I would still be considered a super fat, because since I had my surgery, I have since stalled, and I've been sitting at a size 26 for a good, like 5 to 6 months now, no matter what I do, and it probably has to do with all the hormone fluctuations. That's not the point of this video. But I'm going to continue to speak out against fat acceptance. And I guess somehow that makes me invalid. Like, I have no empathy for fat people because I talk out against illogical fat acceptance talking points. So I guess I'm a self-hating fat person, which is just ridiculous. That could not be further from the truth of my existence. Like, this channel was started, and this journey for me, right, was started because I finally let go of fat acceptance rhetoric. I stopped following it online. I started to let myself mature, because what happened when I started going to therapy and when I started breaking these sort of cycles of influencers, of talking points, I finally realized how much it had eroded my mental health. I was stuck in a cycle of binge eating disorder. I was literally eating myself to death. Technically to death and putting us in debt, so that's not wrong. I'm going to leave that in there instead of cutting it out. And for those of you who haven't been here since the beginning of my channel, because again, we've been growing so rapidly, I literally couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without getting heart palpitations. I have story times where I talk about how I booked a completely separate and 3-hour earlier flight than my coworkers because I didn't want them to see me struggle on a plane. I fully understand what it's like to be fat and to struggle and to be stuck in a mental health circle that you can't get out of. And maybe the most important point of this whole little spiel that I just shared is that when I was in the deepest throes of the negative things that were happening in my life, I was following the people that I now talk about on my channel. I had to escape them and escape their talking points to get to where I am, to being healthy, to joyful movement, to not hating my body, to finally understanding what I need and trusting myself and trusting doctors. It has been a whole thing. But I was listening to them tell me over and over and over again that it was fine to be fat, that there was nothing wrong with being fat, that there were no diseases exclusive to fat people. We should just eat what we want because we're all gonna die anyway. YOLO. Like, the worst of it, though, for me, was the hawking of intuitive eating to a person who had not yet dealt with their eating disorder, where my brain was literally telling me that I needed food all the time. There was no restriction. I couldn't restrict. I was eating so much food, and then I couldn't go to a doctor to get over my eating disorder or a therapist because they were going to prescribe me weight loss and be fat phobic, right? I needed to be scared of them. Do you see how quickly this spirals out of control? How it can take over someone's entire life? Because even if you don't see it, that's okay. I've experienced it. And that's why this is so important to me. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. As time went on with the channel and I started getting deeper into TikTok and reactions and talking about the things I started to have beef a little bit more with thin fat acceptance influencers than anybody else. Every single one of them is a dietitian, a personal trainer, a life coach. There's some sort of something that they have tied to their names. And they are coming online and they're telling people how great it is to be fat. Free yourself, girl. Don't listen to diet culture. And then they're like, but hey, just in case you're looking for a change, just in case you're looking to fix your relationship with food, you know where we are. Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes my skin crawl, which is why I focus on them so heavily, because they are the ones who have absolutely no understanding of what it's like to be fat. They tend to be the ones that are pushing intuitive eating to unhealthy folks. And I want people to be skeptical. I want to not see fat people being taken advantage of by these thin con artists, right? Online. Like, how can you not see that they don't look like you, that they don't understand you, and they're pushing you in a way that when you hit your breaking point, you're going to need someone like them to get you out? Like, how is there such a breakdown that we can't see that, I guess? And so that is something that I try to talk about, that I try to point out on this channel, because there are people in this group of con artists, like the jock scientist, who tell people things like this.
You're fatty.
Doesn't bother me.
Keep eating, fatty.
One of my more self-destructive behaviors on this app is any video that's making this joke, which I love personally. I love to scroll through the comments and look for all of the thin people crying about how I guess I just can't have body image issues then, can I? Body dysmorphia is a thing. First of all, nobody is telling you that. Don't lie to me. Second of all, let's remove the body size aspect of this conversation. You and I are talking and I'm like, oh God, if I looked like you, I would feel so gross. Oh, my worst fear is to look like you. Gross. I feel gross thinking about it. Bitch, you would stay my friend after that? Ah! Nobody's gatekeeping body image issues, but please stop unveiling your fat phobia to your fat friends.
Literally nobody has ever said to me, oh my God, you are so fat and disgusting. I would never want to look like you. I have friends who also have body dysmorphia, who also have body image issues, and they do talk about how bloated they are and sometimes how they feel disgusting. That literally has nothing to do with me. And once I was able to grow up a little bit and grow out of that phase of thinking, I realized, like, wow, I was really putting words in my friend's mouth that they did not say to me. Why would I do that? Why did I feed my insecurities that way? And if your friend does talk to you like that by chance, you need a new friend. But literally, no one has ever said those words to me. I thought those words in my head the same way we hear other fat activists think that way. Well, gosh, if they think they look disgusting, they must think I look disgusting. When you break that, you realize, like, okay, so a thing that I say a lot, right? Again, sorry that this is so disjointed, is that I talk to myself in ways that I would never talk to my friends. And I'm sure that that's true of you too. Do you talk to yourself more meanly than you would talk to your friends? You do. If you say you don't, I don't believe you, but I'm sure y'all will leave me comments. You'll have to let me know. But we tend to be more critical of ourselves. And so what our insecurities are doing is telling us, well, your friend just said you're disgusting. Even though they never said that. You have to fight that. And that is something that I want to do on this channel, to get people out of that mental health spiral and out of that struggle. And it seems like fat activists are trying to do the exact opposite. Because all I want to do with this channel is present people with logical information. I want people to have counterpoints to the fat acceptance rhetoric, because it is spreading itself far and wide. I said it in my last video, losing weight is not easy, and I will agree to that. There are so many factors that play into it. But that doesn't mean that going on a small calorie deficit throws you into starvation mode and suddenly you're eating 800 calories a day. Like, there has to be an in-between. It's not the Atkins diet or intuitive eating. Like, there are things in between that you can do. And that's what I mean when I say fighting the binary, right? Like, you don't have to change your entire life overnight. You can move your body in a way that you enjoy moving it. You can eat foods that you enjoy. You could just maybe eat a little bit less of them. When you start to think outside that binary, you realize that you don't have to be that gym bro. I need to bring gym bro back to the channel. You do not have to be that gym bro that eats unseasoned boiled chicken breasts and only lifts weights, right? And you also don't have to be a fat person who goes online bragging about how they eat in a day to be fat, eating cream cheese on a bagel with bacon on it. Like, you don't have to be either one of those. You can be somewhere in the middle and be fine. But we have to actually talk about what science says and what history says and explain what eugenics are, because we're getting so far off the rails, and being this far off the rails is only hurting fat people. That was all I wanted to do with this channel, and I will continue to do that because I know who I am and I know what I want, and what I want is to help people, especially people who are vulnerable and falling for these online influencers and the bullshit that they're selling, right? And I know sometimes my videos can come across as harsh or hurtful, but sometimes the truth is harsh and sometimes the truth hurts, right? Lizzo has a whole song called The Truth Hurts. It's not fun to analyze something or to research something and realize that you've been wrong or you've been duped, right? Even I hate that. It's a natural response to hate that, and I get it. But what's not natural is for a whole group of people refusing to believe factual science, watching their peers online die, burying their heads in the sand to ignore that, right? To ignore factual science and the fact that people are dying, fat people specifically, while a bunch of thin, conventionally attractive people, con artists, if you will, tell them that they're perfectly fine staying fat, and if they want to change, they got the goods. You know where we live because we supported you. Oh, it just makes me want to throw up or punch something, I don't know, but I will keep fighting that fight for as long as I must, because fat people do deserve better. I do believe that. We don't need a whole bunch of thin influencers out here telling us the what's what. And we also don't need a whole bunch of illogical talking points. What we need is some freaking reality up in this biz, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So that's all I have for you today. If you enjoy the channel, you'll have to let me know below. If you feel like there are things that I'm missing, you can share that with me as well. But know that I'll be here. I'm in it for the long run. We are fighting the good fight. And I hope that you will all join me or stick with me if you're already here, because I got a good group of you and I'm super happy about it. So anyway, thank you again. I promise I don't hate fat people. I promise I don't hate myself. Hopefully you get that vibe from my videos. I tend to be pretty optimistic and not pessimistic. So, all right. Thank you all so much for being here with me today, to listening to me freaking ramble. I just had to talk about it. So thank you for being here. I will see you in the next one. Bye.